Everybody happy? Happy, happy, happy? Quote from Dad from Family Holidays. Thank you, Dad, for the memories. Holidays, sometimes getting lost on holidays. Games, cards, polkas and dances, camping, cabin time, and farm time. I appreciate how you did not always take the easy route, even when it meant you and Mom had to wait for 2 years to add me to your family. This girl could not have been more blessed by the love I received from you as my dad and from Mom. Thank you for teaching me that things that are hard work are worth it, to appreciate the small things, and to always get back in the saddle if you get bucked off. Thank you for supporting me in my career, family, and life. I love knowing that you prayed for me and for my family. Bless you, Dad. I love you.
Jim bought an old auger from my workplace. I went out to the farm to help him get it running. When we got the auger running, Jim was smiling and very happy with it. I thought to myself, this was the worst sounding auger I'd ever heard. Jim thought it was awesome. He told me many times how much he liked it. Today, when I have to repair augers that really don't sound bad at all, I think Jim would have been more than happy with this. Lesson learned, be grateful for what we have.
I like doing Grandma and Grandpa games in my piano festivals, piano recitals, and dance recitals. Love you, Grandpa.
Thank you for teaching me how to pick potatoes at the farm and coming to my games. Love you, Grandpa.
Dad had a strong arm. He won many church picnic arm wrestling competitions. As a boy, I used to enjoy testing my strength against him. He used to say, "Shake a paw with a brave bear." We were harvesting one fall, and the hoist broke on the grain truck. We dumped the grain on a tarp, fixed the hoist, then shoveled it back onto the truck by hand. When I got tired, he would say, "Keep shoveling, James. You'll get your second wind soon if you keep going." I felt like quitting so many times, but I didn't want to let him down. I didn't want to show weakness. I never quite understood the whole getting your second wind thing. And I never quite understood why we didn't use the perfectly good grain auger to load the grain instead of doing it by hand. He never said why. I used to think that he didn't know what he was doing. But now that I have a son of my own, I think I understand. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. He wanted to build character. He wanted to build resilience that might serve me well later in life. What a guy. Dad and I had some fantastic hunts with Uncle Ken. The last pheasant hunt I had with Dad was particularly memorable. We had some great times. Thanks, Dad.
What I appreciated about Jim was his down-to-earth character. He was always thankful for his family, and he enjoyed simple pleasures. One humorous memory we shared was when we were cross-country skiing together. He crashed at the bottom of a hill and broke his ski pole. He quickly got out his pocket knife and set to work whittling a piece of wood from a branch to fix it. He didn't get upset. He didn't get angry. He didn't need fancy equipment to enjoy the outdoors with his family. He always made do with what he had.
I like doing things in the garden. Thanks, Grandpa.
I had fun working with you in the garden, Grandpa.
I enjoyed fishing with Grandpa.
Dad, you were the first man I knew You loved, guided, and disciplined me with secure boundaries that gave me the opportunity to grow, learn, and discover who I was. You and Mom faithfully took me to church, guarded me from what you thought was best, and tried to let go bit by bit as I grew older. Your laugh was deep, loud, and boisterous, and I could hear it through a crowd, especially when you and Mom had friends over to play cards. One time in high school, I was scheduled to sing at church. For whatever reason, I was feeling down and really didn't think I could or even wanted to sing. You told me that it was okay to be sad, that everyone feels that way sometimes. However, I had agreed to sing, and it's important to keep my word and commitment. So you came with me and explained my situation to the congregants, and I sang the song. I remember when you were first diagnosed with cancer, we went out to Tim's and talked for a while over coffee and an old-fashioned plain donut. I never knew till then we both liked the same treat. I told you that the gift of cancer was that we had some time to say what we wanted to say to each other. Because Grandpa Sewell died so suddenly, we didn't get to tell him what we should have, or maybe wanted to. So we proceeded to share different things. Dad, your fingerprints are all over my life, and so many others. Thank you for the lessons you've taught me. The gap that now exists in the family is unfilled. We will endure the empty space and remain connected as we share stories and pass on what you taught us to the next generation. Yes, we hurt and grieve, but not like those without hope. We are confident you are resting in the everlasting arms of your good shepherd, Jesus Christ. I just want to say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you.
Dad, we met just over 35 years ago when I picked up Cindy for our first date. It didn't take me long to get serious about your daughter, and it didn't take you long to get me working with you on the farm. I realized that some of the same things mattered to both you and me. Things like hard work, people, a good laugh, faith, and family. To say that our engagement a year later came as a shock to you would be a pretty significant understatement. The next day, you and I went to a gun range to sight in our rifles, and to be honest, the thought did cross my mind that this might not be the smartest place to go with you the day after I threw you that curveball. Well, I did end up getting scope bite. I held the rifle too close to my head, and the scope kicked back and bit my forehead. You looked pretty concerned as you said, "Todd, maybe I should drive." I said, "No big deal. What could be the problem?" Until I looked in the mirror and saw the blood running down my face. You took me to a walk-in clinic, and I ended up getting six stitches just above my eye. I remember walking into the back door of your house, and Cindy took one look at me, and then she looked at you and asked, "What did you do to him?" And you said, "I didn't touch him." Really, the look on your face as you tried to explain to Cindy that I had done it to myself and that you had no hand in it was worth the scar from the stitches. Thank you for accepting me into your family. You never made me feel like an in-law, but as family. I am grateful for the time that I had to be a part of your life and you a part of mine.
Once we moved back to Saskatoon from PA, Grandpa and Grandma started taking me to the rodeo when it was in the city. They'd pick me up, take me out for supper, and then we'd stop by a Western store on our way, and then every few years get a new hat since I'd outgrown the previous one. Once we would get to the rodeo, Grandma and I would grab some snacks, and then the three of us would settle into our seats. Then, when the rodeo began, Grandpa would explain what was going on to me and Grandma. I always really enjoyed and looked forward to this time that we would spend together. Grandpa passed his love of horses on to me. Over the years, he would tell me stories of his experience riding and training horses. It was really cool to connect with him over our love of horses. Once I started taking riding lessons, he and Grandma would always be there to cheer me on. One time he was even able to ride around the arena with me. This is a memory that I look back on fondly as we were able to share this experience together.
Ever since I was little, I knew I could count on you, Grandpa, for a good game of mini golf and a drink from Tim Hortons, or possibly even a donut if I could persuade you, which didn't take much most days. And although there was a lot going on this summer, every weekend when I came home to see you after a full week at camp, you were always eager to see how it went, especially the weeks where I was wrangling. You were always curious how many kids came to Christ that week, and as much as you enjoyed listening to the different kinds of horses and the characters that they were, I enjoyed telling them and having someone that would not only hear, but teach me something new about them. Grandpa, you'll never be forgotten because there's no one who could replace you. We love you. Till we meet again.
Grandpa, I have many good stories and memories of you. They vary from helping me build a birdhouse, no matter how long it took, to dressing up as Mary for Christmas. You knew how to make me and others laugh so easily, but you also taught me that work needs to be done, but there's always time to smile. There's a hole in our family where you were. I'll always remember the way you lit up the room whenever you smiled or laughed. It will be hard, but I know you are with Jesus and smiling and laughing now with him. I love you, Grandpa.
My husband, Jim, to honor and to cherish, has followed me for 58 years as of June 6, 2022. Jim had a sense of humor, but always fun. It has been a very interesting life. Every marriage has its hiccups. However, we had always honored each other morally, trustworthy to each other, loved our family, our grandchildren, our family camping with grandchildren, our camping with friends, our home gatherings with friends. Jim would always say, "Have you fed these people?" Honored for his love for me, his wife, Marlene, his honesty, his love for his children and his grandchildren, his many great memories of being my very best friend, husband, and father of our children. I will always love you, Jim.